It's 9 p.m. In Djibouti. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the head of the state receives the vice ministers of foreign affairs from Italy. For the international scenes in Morocco, scenes of the towns of Welcome to our newsrooms. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has received today, Sunday, at the Presidential Palace, the Italian Deputy Ministers of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation, Ms. Emanuela Claudio Del Rey. Ms. Del Rey's visit to President Guelleh is part of a tour to the Italian Deputy Ministers of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation is conducting in the countries of the region. The relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries and the two peoples, as well as ways and means to promote and develop them, the further were mentioned during the hearing between the President of the Republic and Ms. Del Rey. Discussion is then focused move on new partnership, including social development, around which both nations want to work together. Djibouti and Italy already have a privileged cooperation. The two countries have actually collaborated together in the past around the constructions in Djibouti of a series of infrastructure, and which is the Italian hospital, the bridge of Balbala, the roads of Venice. Our countries also provide this valuable support to the Italian Republic, particularly through its hosting of a military bases belonging to Italy. Djibouti's Minister of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, took part in the meetings between the President, Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the Italian Deputy Ministers of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation. The Italian's Deputy Foreign Minister Emanuela Claudio Del Rey thanked President Guelleh for his welcome and was delighted to meet the Djibouti President, who is a great man on the regional political scene. His visit is intended to confirm the interest of Italy for the Republic of Djibouti, very important for the global balance in this part of the world. She also said that Italy is close to Djibouti. The foreign ministers Mahmoud Ali Yusuf attended a meeting between President Guelleh and the Italian Deputy Foreign Ministers Emanuela Claudio Del Rey. He said that Italy is an important partner, not only for Djibouti but also for the whole region. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, is back in the capital of the countries from Ethiopia, precisely the city of Jimma, where the invitations of the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed during the visit trip were also Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir. President Guelleh will take part in the multi-party series. The most prominent topics in the sub-regions, including issues relating to stability and economic integration, will be discussed at the length of the agenda of the President of the Republic. Participation is alongside its Ethiopian Sudanese counterpart. The President takes part of the inaugurations of a series of new infrastructure in Jimma, Ethiopia. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, at the invitations of the Prime Ministers Abiy Ahmed Ali, took part today and Saturday as part of a working and friendship visit for 24 hours at the inaugurations of a series of new infrastructure in the Ethiopian city of Jimma. The inauguration sites were composed respectively of a Sudanese and Ethiopian cultural center, a hospital center, and an industrial park. Also in his participation is in the inaugurations of a new infrastructure in Jimma. President Ismail Omar Guelleh today took part in a series to launch the constructions of a future Sudanese Ethiopian Cultural Center. This future Sudanese Ethiopian Cultural Center will eventually have a schools, library, and a mosque, the work of President Omar Hassan al-Bashir. It will serve as an illustration of the friendship and fraternity between the peoples of Sudan and Ethiopia. In Jimma, the head of state also took part in the ceremony of inauguration of a new hospital with a capacity of 800 beds. The inaugurated hospital center is sophisticated medical facilities and that combines the provision of care with the insertion of structures for research, particularly in medicine. University inaugurate for the city of Jimma is also a modern infrastructure integrating amphitheater for readers, classrooms for tutorial, laboratories for experiment. After the inauguration of a new hospital in Jimma, the head of state took part in the graduations of the University of Jimma. University's inaugurated for the city of Jimma is also a modern infrastructure integrating amphitheater for readers and classrooms for tutorials, laboratories for experiment. The head of state took the floor for this occasion. Listen to him, please.
I thank my brother, Abiy Ahmed, for giving me this opportunity. I bring with me greetings from your brothers and sisters from Djibouti. I am really impressed with this infrastructure in this region. Let me also underline the fact that the higher education is key to development. You represent the future of your country. A nation without a well-educated youth has no prospects of progress and prosperity. So I urge you and I encourage you to continue your struggle for education and better life for yourself, for your families, and for your brothers and sisters of Ethiopia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
On the sidelines of the participations in this series of inaugurations of new infrastructure for the city of Jimma, the President of the Republic took part also in a lunch on the tripartite meeting with the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed and the Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir. This tripartite meeting between the leaders of Djibouti, Ethiopia and Sudan is part of regular consultations and exchanges on the topics of common interest between the leaders of the country, of the region. The ceremony of laying the first stones of road infrastructure as part of the participations of the President of the Republic in the inaugurations of a multiple development project in the city of Jimma The three leaders said Saturday at the ceremony laying the foundation stone to start the work of construction of another major road infrastructure project. With the construction of this 79 kilometers highway project worth about US $46 million, the Ethiopian government aimed to connect the strategic cities of Western Ethiopia, including the historic city of Jimma, to the cities of Agaro and Dedesa. The long-awaited road infrastructure, once completed, will play a key role in the development of the East African country. Indeed, the high-quality road infrastructure is expected to boost the coffee trade chains in the city of Jimma and surrounding areas that are known to the main sources of Ethiopian coffee. The Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, who accompanies President Ismail Margele in this trip to Ethiopia, to Jimma, made a statement to the press. In this intervention, he described the participation of the President of the Republic of Djibouti in the meeting between the leaders of the sub-region as a proof of our country's commitment to the process of guidance and decisions on the future of this part of the region and in the world. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Cultural, Momin Hassan Barre, and the State Secretary of State for Social Affairs, Muna Osman Aden, today signed an agreement establishing a fruitful partnership in the social file between the infrastructure institutions of the two ministries. This convention is part of the social policy led by the government under the leadership of the President Mama Gele. It concretizes the will to reinforce the coordinations of the means and the actions of the institutional authorities to create synergy useful to the achievement of the social objectives. The signing ceremony was attended by the two Secretary General. A restitution meeting of two draft reports prepared by a team of consultants held today in the meeting room of the ministry delegate in charge of decentralization. This report, one on the state of the play, civil status centers, and the other on the analysis of the legal texts relating to the civil status, were widely discussed by the meeting participants from the technical committee created for this purpose and comprising around the Ministry of Decentralization and its partner, UNICEF, the head of the civil status centers of Djibouti City and the interior regions, as well as the representative of the sectoral and technical ministry affected by the problems of birth registration. It should be noted that these two studies are part of the priority actions decided during the validations of the report on the analysis of the bottleneck on the birth registration system carried out on behalf of the delegated ministries in charge of decentralization. This will help the latter to propose solutions to improve the functioning of the civil status centers of the regulatory framework that governs civil status through the national territory. The training workshop on the judicial policy and the magistrate officers on reproductive law took place last Thursday at the People's Palace, chaired by the Secretary Generals of the Ministry of Justice, Makki Omar, and saw the participations of the Vice President of CNDH, the representative of FNIAP, and the Judicial Police, namely the Gendarmerie and Police. The objective is to fight whose file of justice, the persistence of violence against women and children. Among these violence is physical violence and sexual abuse. The Secretary General recalled that the practice persists and figures are alarming in pursuing his stress that in Djibouti exegesis is prohibited since the revisions of the penal code entered into force in April in 1995. Article 7.3 on the penal code prohibit all forms of violence. As part of the programs for the promotions and protections of human rights, the PICA 12 Salam Community Management Committee, in collaboration with UNFT, organizes a sensitization day on the rights of child yesterday at the community headquarters. The goal of this day was to sensitize women on the total abandonment of female genital mutilations, whose practices causes negative results that harms the health of a child. The president of the PICA 12 Community Management Committee, Ms. Aisha Aden Farah, explained in her word the harmful consequences that are caused by this practice and asked women to move away from the ladders which causes problems on the health of the children, while asking women to participate in actions to promote and protect the rights of children and the effort of the community to take actions on protect the rights of children years with the support of the entities. The academies of the National Police Idris Farah Habane hosted a ceremony and of courses intended for the police of the border and access of the managers of migration. This ceremony has been held in the presence of the General Directors of National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, the General Police of the Somali, Bashir Abdi Muhammad, the representative of the World Organizations of Migration, Ms. Lalini Birassami, and several officers of the National Police and the Somalian Police. In addition to the officers, that this training has also seen the participation of all borders police members who have participated in this training concerning the management of migration. This training continues for police officers already in function was made by the Djiboutian trainer. The commanders of the Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Boghar, welcome to the General Directorate of the Coast Guard located at the delegations of senior Japanese businessmen led by the former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Japan, currently President of the Japan Associations of Economic and Development of Africa, with the presence of the Japanese Ambassador to Djibouti, Koji Yanitani, to consider the operations of the Coast Guard. Mr. Tetsuro Yano appreciated the quality and operational work and of the Djibouti Coast Guard and the remarkable results of his mission. Colonel Wais Omar Boghor expressed his sincere thanks to the government and people of Japan, a brotherly and friendly country, who have always shown constant support for the development of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. Following the exchanges, the delegation was able to enjoy a visit at sea to see the Coast Guard infrastructure and the port facilities and their areas of operation. Throughout the countries, the launch of the rural vaccinations campaign was launched in the morning in the Dakhel region. At June 27th, places in the Dakhel region, a huge vaccination campaign rural extended over the territories of Dakhel region for children from 1 to 5 years have also taken part in this official ceremony of the launches of this rural vaccination campaign. The regional authorities of Dakhel Prefect Mr. Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, the councillors of the region Mr. Abdurrahman Yunus Are, the chief doctors of the Dakhel Hospital Mr. Hamad Ali Rufa, and the notables of the region. In the morning of Wednesday, September 5, 2018, a delegation conducted by the prefect of Arta, of Mr. Abdullahi Umar Darar, accompanies ambassadors of France in Djibouti, of the representative of World Food Programme, was rendered in the locality of Gable Galen. The delegation has been received by the notables, the communities of Gable. The delegation has made up with the notables to discuss the general interest of the community of sector that they have evoked the failure of health service, schools, and sometimes exhausted during the period of health, the unemployment rate of the locality. For the international scene, the openings of talks on Yemen in Sweden is a vital first step to exit the conflict, said a senior U.S. State Department official on Sunday, who strongly reaffirmed U.S. support for the coalition military forces led by Saudi Arabia. The assassinations of journalist Jamal Khashoggi on October 2 in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul has changed the situation in Washington, where part of the political class is now questioning the strategy pursued by Riyadh in the ongoing war in Yemen since March 2015. This is it for this news. Thanks for watching us.